Well, we wondered if Darrelle Revis was going to travel with Calvin Johnson, and so far he's gone with him every single play, and with not a lot of help over the top by the safeties.
They've only locked up against one another in one game back when Revis played for the Jets. That was Johnson's rookie year. He only had one catch for 13 yards. This one to the tight end, Brandon Pettigrew. And that's up to the 24-yard line.
Well, the measurables, when you look at here, you go, what is a mismatch? 6'5" versus 5'11". Obviously, both have decent vertical jumps. But when you add this wingspan with the vertical jump, with the size, it looks like a mismatch. But Darrelle Revis has such a sense of timing. He's such a great athlete. They're very comfortable, obviously, going one-on-one with Calvin Johnson.
Got to go back to 2010, the only time they've gotten together.
Well, Jim Schwartz told us in that matchup, now this was a young Calvin Johnson that did not have a lot of routes in his repertoire because it was just go vertical. He's a different receiver now, but so far, Darrelle Revis, what surprises me is they're not even attempting anything over here. I'll be shocked if they don't take a shot down the field as long as he's not getting safety help over the top. If we don't see a shot by Matthew Stafford, even though that is Darrelle Revis, down to Calvin Johnson. He's got to test it.
They're locked up down at the bottom of your screen. On this 2nd down and 6. And thrown behind a bit to Johnson. And clearly miscommunication in the Tampa Bay secondary because he was all alone in the middle of the defense.
Well, he's just going to run a slant here, and this is one of the times that Revis isn't going with the man-for-man. But Jonathan Casillas jumped. The linebacker jumps in underneath. I think that's why the ball was a little bit behind, because had he hit him in dead stride, he might have had to deal with the linebacker. That's just a missed throw, a missed opportunity, because you're only going to get so many shots to Calvin Johnson if you're going to stay away from him because of Darrelle Revis, excuse me. For no other reason, it opens up the throws to Calvin Johnson, but right now he's been targeted 4 times, but they're not going over there because Darrelle Revis so far has him shut out.
That's 4 times in the last 3 quarters. You may remember he had the monster first half in Pittsburgh last week, and then Johnson did not catch a single pass in the second half, and he has one now. Down inside the 10-yard line. First catch of the game for Calvin Johnson.
Obviously down here, same play we saw a minute ago that was thrown behind Calvin Johnson. Darrelle Revis is throwing him off to the inside to a degree, waiting for inside help. And Levante David didn't get into the passing lane the way Jonathan Casillas did. And this is the kind of throw they need to get the ball to Calvin Johnson. Underneath throw that turns into a bigger play. Away Calvin Johnson right here in the slot, ends up going one-on-one. He delivered this touchdown a lot better than he did that pizza when he broke his arm. Well, we start out talking about the Darrelle Revis versus Calvin Johnson. Here you can see Revis is one-on-one with him. Staying step for step, goes to the outside with help over the top, drops him into coverage because it's a zone. You're not going to play man-to-man every route. And on that one, expected more help from the inside and didn't get it. And what did we expect? If you're going to spend that much time worrying about Calvin Johnson, all of a sudden, we now see Nate Burleson. We see Reggie Bush.
And Barrett flagged for the penalty. They tack on 15, and Stafford slings it out to Johnson. Inside the 20, wrapped up to the 14-yard line. Calvin Johnson's 2nd catch of the afternoon.
Well, Matthew Stafford, as I said, he's going to test Darrelle Revis at some point. Yeah, you're going to be respectful of it, but that's Calvin Johnson I'm throwing to out there, and we've heard Matthew Stafford say it time and time again. I got to get used to the fact that 2 guys on Calvin Johnson doesn't mean he's covered. Well, even though that's Darrelle Revis, and even though he's right there, I'm going to test and see if Calvin Johnson can come up with the ball. Yeah, he really has on the inside. He's a good 3-down player. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down, keeping him in on nickel.
Johnson a 1st down in midfield. Clock continues to roll. We're at a minute. And now the Lions going to stop it with a timeout. You would look very handsome as a spin.
And bow ties.
Be a good look for you.
Bow ties with that.
I'm all right by that. Stafford fires across the middle, and a catch is made by Calvin Johnson up to the 38-yard line. Lions have 2 timeouts. Stafford has thrown the football almost 440 times and only 12 sacks. And that one airmailed as soon as it left his hand, looking for Johnson. And he was open.
Matthew Stafford just praying to have that one back. Did a nice job climbing the pocket, so the ball was going to be just a little bit late. And you're going to see now on the outside, Calvin Johnson's going to bend deep into the middle. We saw him just catch the ball over the middle. He is going to be wide open, but Stafford almost got a little too excited, and because he had to climb the pocket, was late on the throw, rushed his fundamentals. We've already talked about if Darrelle Revis is indeed out, this is huge for the Detroit Lions because they've left him enough one-on-one to do other things and account for the other assets of the Detroit Lions. They're going to have to play a whole lot more too deep to account for Calvin Johnson. It's going to open it up for runs just like this.
A 5-yard carry on first down for Reggie Bush.
Here we talk about the matchups. You can see Darrelle Revis trailing him in a number of different ways. Occasionally he'll let him fall off in zone, but obviously the Detroit Lions are very aware of Darrelle Revis. And if he's out of the game for any length of time, it's going to totally restructure the coverage package of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
They have Leonard Johnson in the game. They also have an extra defensive back who also checks in, and Danny Gore. And they go right.